Oh no, it's definitely stronger.
Up by a lot.
This one's 40. This one says 67 to 75%.
Well, how much? Wait, what? What? 100? Wait, what does that say?
145 proof, so it's like 70%.
78%.
This one's only 40.
Oh my!
So this is like double.
Why is that such a range? 57 to 75% alcohol by volume. So they don't know.
Because it's like, is that like small batch stuff?
Yeah, but for how good it is, you wouldn't think it's that strong.
So you weren't joking. It's definitely stronger.
I'm trying to not have a headache tomorrow morning, so
yeah, let's stick with this guy.
Keep it nice and chill. I think we're live. Just check YouTube. I'm pretty sure we're good to go.
See if we can get this pour on there. Oh boy! Don't pour when you're looking straight down. Here, I'm gonna do this.
I thought you were gonna give me more. Yeah, just do that.
I was trying to put the mic close, and I was looking straight down, so I couldn't tell how much was in there. And then I slid back, and I was like, "Oh, that's a 3-finger pour." It's only 40%. No big deal.
Yeah, totally.
It's the weaker one.
It's the weak, and that's a good one too. This one's
Vaseline.
nuts. I mean,
I think we had this, and it tasted really good.
It's got a lot of flavor. That's why I like it.
Alcohol flavor.
This is the Okayest Hunter podcast. Never pass on shooter bucks, because that's just meat in the freezer. It's your tag, you hunt how you want. This is Okayest Hunter.
Welcome back to the Okayest Hunter podcast, coming at you from Oconomowoc, just straight to the talk.
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
Just like, I guess I'm not going to do music today. I don't know what happened to my brain. Just didn't want to hit that button.
It's unneeded. We don't need it. We're ready.
We're ready to go.
We're ready.
We're ready. We're brought to you by Nosler. Go to Nosler.
Pew, pew.
No, just Nosler.com. Dude, you think my brain would like remember some of this stuff?
It's a new week. You only have like 40 million things going through your brain on the daily, so it's understandable.
But that's like a shitty excuse, actually. Like, this should get some of my attention. I should do a good job here. Like, at some point, it's my own fault that
you
that's
do
happened.
A damn okay job, Eric.
We're just looking at the Field and Stream journal, because it's not a magazine, it's a journal. And the Nosler ad in here is quite beautiful for their silencer, the can, right? I think they're called cans.
Yeah. So you and Tyler were talking when you were at SHOT Show about their new can, their silencers that they just came out with. And I didn't know this, but I was excited because you guys were talking about it. I do not currently have a rifle, but I'm working on potentially saving up for a long range gun after our Oregon trip, because that was really fun. But that can is super. They've made it like really minimalist, because obviously backcountry hunters, people who want to use this stuff, like right now, your typical silencer can that you're buying is like heavy, like over a pound.
They actually have a lot of weight to it.
7 or 8 inches.
Holding your gun up already is difficult.
Okay. Yeah. And then you have a long range gun, they have longer barrels on them. So now you've just extended, like, you've got like a 49-inch gun sitting in there.
And with lots of weight.
This one's like 5.5 inches, 7.2 ounces, I think it said, which is considerably smaller.
Well, the big thing, I never thought about this. But if you're shooting with a silencer, your hearing protection is just baked into the experience. And I think there's a lot of good and new emerging technology in the hearing protection side of things in our industry. But like, if you're deer hunting, you want to be able to naturally hear the environment around you. I'm not trying to put something in my ear. No. And maybe that's not entirely true if I don't even know what else exists out there that would let sound in, but block a firearm. I've heard that they can do that. They'll block just the firearm, but not the other stuff. But I don't know about you, but earbuds in my ear over time, eventually it just kind of like it starts to get painful.
You get a headache.
Like, it hurts my ear, like the cartilage or something gets sore or something. So I like the over the ear mic, like whatever we're wearing right now.
Yeah, muffs.
Yeah, ear muffs. So having a silencer would be great, because then you don't have to worry about it.
I can't even put a hat over my ears. Like opening day of gun hunting, I can't have anything covering my ears.
Yeah, it dampens the sound.
Because I feel like I won't be able to hear well. So like I'll pull my ears out and look like a dopey Elmer Fudd up in my stand. But I'm like, I'm not covering my ears. I gotta hear.
Yeah, you gotta. Yeah.
Where's that pesky little wabbit?
And it's really the barrier to get a silencer now is like I think it's Silencer Central or Silencer.co, or there's companies that have like mitigated the ability, or like mitigated some of the red tape that it requires to get one.
Yeah, because I think you send something, or Tyler sends something, a company that does that. You
Yeah.
put in the information, and they kind of streamline the paperwork needed for it and make
Yes.
it all just easier. So
'Cause
it's
I think
not
every
all
state's a
on
little
you.
bit different. We were going to give some away at Foam Fest, but that was one of the complications. So then we're like, you know what? It sounds too complicated. Let's just give us some ammo. I don't know.
People were a big fan of the ammo at Foam Fest because giving out like $100 or $80 boxes of ammo, everyone was
Yeah.
like, "Ooh, I'll take the
Yeah.
Nozzler."
They were, yeah, it was a good deal. But I'm like, how can you give away ammo and not, I don't know, this other, it's
Yeah.
just kind of interesting. Anyway, check out Nozzler. I had another, and we'll get it. We're going to be talking about shut hunting today. So just to like give everybody a little bit of like what we're going to be talking about. Derek is going to be leading the charge on that.
Little
And I'm
postseason
pretty sure he's
scouting.
drooling about it. Just he's getting a little salivated here.
How'd you know? How did you know?
Latitude, I think, I'm not sure if their sale is up, but they're running 20% off site wide and then up to 30% off on the Method 2 because they're clearing house to make room for the Method 3. So just go over to, if you're looking to get into a saddle, I know they're at Great American Outdoor Show this week in, where is that at? Pennsylvania. So say hi to those guys. Tell them, okay, it's Hunter sent you. I'd say use our discount code, but it's not going to matter right now because I think the discounts they're running are steeper than even what we provide at the moment. So I imagine they're just trying to make room for all the new inventory that's going to be coming in for 2025. Good pals of ours, and they've taken great care of us and helped us kill some deer. I mean, at least I've killed deer with their stuff.
I've killed deer out of this.
So yeah, it's been a pretty good feeling. Rack Hub will tie in really nicely to this episode because there's always a great way to mount your antlers, and they're always coming with new products to do that. They have plaques like inscribe your memory on there, like laser engraving. So the ones that actually hold 2 antlers, you can get an engraving of like maybe where you found it. So if Gus finds a match set, you could do match set, this date, Iowa, whatever. So that's kind of neat.
Cool.
And you can obviously do that, with some of the other things they have too. So anyway, check those guys out. Code OHP or check rackhub.com/okayest. We'll get you there. And we have 2 new announcements, and I'll get to the show. And I'll get better at this kind of like advertising stuff because I don't think it's super favored, but we've worked with these partners for a long time. So if you've been listening to this podcast for any amount of time, you've heard us talk with these people all the time. We'll usually just start to bake them into the episode topic or have them on for their own episodes and all that jazz. But one that I'm like pretty excited about in a nerdy, stupid way is Quick Trip.
Yeah.
Just because I'm such a fan of Quick Trip. Like,
you want to hear something funny?
Yes.
So you just sent a group text earlier today
Yeah.
at like 4:00, a little earlier, about like the Quick Trip sponsorship, and you were excited and you had like a list of stuff. You're like, dude, it's like I was eating a piece of Quick Trip pizza while I opened your text, and I looked over at the box and I was like, oh, I just got a slice.
Oh, I thought that would be something like that. Like, I bet you Derek's gonna have Quick Trip on the way over
I
here. 'Cause
did.
usually I'll make dinner. You're like, no, I'm good. I had dinner. I'm like, oh, okay.
I grabbed a slice of pizza and I went for a walk at a spot.
Oh, you did?
Not far from here that
Oh,
Um,
okay.
I think you killed this buck there.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Did you find anything interesting?
I
It's
was
crowded.
kicking around for sheds, but
It's a crowded spot.
yeah, there were some deer in there, but
Yeah.
I didn't find anything.
Okay, we found deer. No, they have I mean, whatever. Quick Trips. If you're from the Midwest, you know what we're talking about. You're probably excited too. We just made a post on our social about it, like collaborating that like they're the only thing getting us through hunting season because it's just depressing right now. So I'll just keep going to Quick Trip and eating my depression away. But the big thing for them right now, if you're a fan, is the hotspot, and they have their the whole thing like, oh geez, I didn't put in my note. There's a promotion around like the food, just food.
Yeah, you had a whole bunch, like some kind of cheeseburger with a pretzel
Yeah.
bun, because I love pretzel buns. So I saw that and I was like, ooh.
But yeah, check out the hotspot. That's exciting. The big news is like cheese curds will now be fried instead of baked. I'm like, were they baked before? Fried's the way to go.
I don't know if I ate.
That's like when
cheese curds
McDonald's
there.
said, it's now with real chicken. Well, what the fuck was I eating before?
You don't want to know.
But like, yeah, now they're fried. Freaking great. Now I'm going to go buy some for sure. And they have a quick snack, which is 1 chicken tender and 1 breadstick for $4. And you can add a Big Buddy for $5 total. I don't know what a Big Buddy is. Is that like a drink?
It's a drink,
Yeah.
soft drink.
Okay.
Have you had their chicken tenders before?
Dude, so I
They're
did
freaking good.
I did a meal where I took the chicken tenders and then I went and got Bob Evans mashed potatoes, a can of
Oh.
corn, and I did the KFC bowl
yeah.
with the Quick Trip chicken. And because there's no KFC around here. They're all gone in our state. Like there was one in Brookfield, there was one in they're gone. So
We have one in West Bend, but
they're
it
pretty
looks pretty sketchy. I
they're
haven't
pretty
gone there.
sketch. But that bowl, man, you can just go recreate it at Quick Trip, and
Oh,
it's
those
delicious.
bowls. Yeah.
So anyway, I usually get the Quick Trip chicken on the way to Deer Stand every single time because that's gonna be like my dinner usually.
They built a Quick Trip next to our high school that I
Yeah.
work at, like literally within walking distance.
Okay.
So like today, I may or may not have walked over there during my prep and got a coffee. And then while I was getting a coffee, I was like, you know what goes great with a coffee? A long john. So I hit Quick Trip twice today, bro.
Oh man,
This is bad.
what a hoot!
That's bad. Good thing
Yeah,
I
we just
walked
did
a
all those
lot last
push-ups.
weekend.
We just busted out 50 push-ups together upstairs real quick.
We got to finish our 100.
Yeah, we got to do the 100 challenge. And then the other, so you'll notice the logo on the screen here on the bottom right. That is the Gerber Gear logo, and the things that they have coming down the pike for 2026 should get everybody that listens across our entire network incredibly excited. So really enthused. We're dipping our toes in this year in order to build into 2026. There's a good chance we're going to fly out to Oregon where they're headquartered, whether that's in like May for spring turkey or maybe something for blacktail. Maybe this time I go with Tyler or Matt and do some blacktail hunting. We're definitely going to be swinging by the Gerber Gear headquarters and seeing how they are going to be making what they're making for 2026, among other things, by the way. And we used their knives this last season. And Gerber Gear is like, they've been around for a while.
Forever.
It's a name that you probably know of and have heard about, and they're available in retail. But I know like Montana Knife Co. is all the rage.
That's like
They
definitely
do drops and
the
they
hype.
sell out right away. Like I think Montana Knife Co. is like if you're hanging at the top of the mountain and you're doing those badass solo hunts, maybe these guys are our guys. They're hanging at the bottom of the mountain with us, drinking beers, and the knives are damn good quality. Like
But yeah, they're making good stuff, dude.
they've been around for a long time. They know what they're doing. So like I did their multi-tool and that I don't know what the knives are with the orange handles that go in my
Yeah, so that's what I wanted to mention is like we got those right before gun season, I
Yep.
think, in November. And I've always ran the Outdoor Edge it's a disposable blade, which
yes.
it's disposable, which it's not like great because it's disposable, but always having a brand new fresh blade in your pack, like when you're gutting, when you're doing whatever,
Mhm.
is like insanely useful.
Yeah.
And they make a version, Gerber makes a version. I don't remember the name of it off the top of my
Yep.
head, but I used that to work on 2 deer, and holy shit, freaking slick as could be. And then I also got their Skinner, which is like a fixed blade Skinner.
Yep.
Comes in a little case, and I used both those knives to take apart the deer, quarter it, do all the meat, and it was bee's knees. It was
And
bee's
you're
knees.
not paying the price point of
No.
like it's affordable. Like it's really affordable. It's not $600 for a blade, which if I'm collecting, maybe I'll do like a drop or something if we ever were so lucky. But
It's not the case right
yeah,
now.
totally different. So anyway, that's enough of all that. I think I got that mostly covered. Spartan Forge is off the screen for now, but they're not going anywhere. We're just going to do a lot more with them in the latter part of this year when it's actually time to go hunting.
Hunting season.
So there's that, in case you're wondering if you're watching. But shed hunting, Derek, you were out in Iowa.
Yeah, I was on Spartan Forge a lot because we got the idea. Tim and Corey, 2 buddies of mine that we've had a group scouting. This all started from like a group. We were going to go scout an area up north together.
Did you
'cause
guys use Blue Force Tracker by chance?
We didn't, because we never ever have gotten together.
Oh, okay.
we've been
I
in
wasn't sure.
we've been in a group chat that was based on we're going to go scout an area up near Anago. And so we were all messaging with maps and shit, and we never were able to line it up, but we just have kept a group text for like 6 years. Just so now it's just a hunting text with
Yeah.
like some buddies, and we all were in Iowa Saturday. So the idea is we're going to apply for Iowa Tag together. It's like you can apply as a group. So if one gets it, everybody gets it.
Really? Okay.
Yep. So we're looking at 2026, but like Tim and Corey are like, hey, you know when should we start scouting? And then we're like, hey, we should. I mean, what's the harm in going and look?
I mean, you've not had a lot of
Now.
luck in Illinois, so
No. So we decided to all go down there, and we were all down there Saturday. Tim and Corey drove together. They live close to each other. We all got down there almost the same time, but we kind of split up. They hit a really big property, and then I hit 2 smaller properties, and we kind of just shared what we found.
Mhm.
But we weren't actually together. But I had been looking at Spartan Forge, and I mean, the area we're in is hill country. So
Really?
I'd been talking to
Okay.
people on dropping pins like Tony Van Asten, who's
Selfishly.
from the southwestern
Yeah.
part of the state, and listening to Tony talk about the hills. He was on the Wisconsin Sportsman podcast talking about he's with Jake Bush. Like
Mhm.
I've just been listening to everything. So I really admire Tony. He's a phenomenal hunter, spends a ton of time in the woods, and hearing him talk about the hills, like I've never really hunted like hills, like rolling foothills. Yeah, Illinois is a little bit of that, but I was like, I want to freaking check this out. And I did, and it hurt.
Yeah, I
hurt.
think I remember you saying something about your hips were
Getting out of the car after, so I walked. I think I did 15.3.
because how long was the drive?
4 hours.
Yeah, okay.
So I got up at like 3:30, left the house at 4, got there at 8, and walked, hit 2 properties, covered. My tracker said 15.3 miles between the two, and a lot of elevation, over 2,000 feet elevation gain,
Whoa, dude.
which is a fair amount for flat country marsh.
And you said there were smaller
Derek.
properties in contrast to the ones your buddies were on?
So they were on bigger one. I was on 2 smaller ones, like 300 to 400 acre ones, and covered fairly well. But it was nice because the whole reason I went is my family has been sicker than hell. The influenza has
You
gone
just need to
through.
get out.
Last weekend, my wife was sick for like 4 days. God bless her heart. She was absolutely wrecked, like just not. She could not freaking function. So I just like been taking care of everything as best I could for the last 2 weeks. And she was starting to feel better. Went back to work like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Things were on the up and up. And Thursday, I was like, look, if I could just have one day, I'll do what I need to do in one day. But if I can have one day where I can just get out, I just need to get out. I'm losing my mind. She was like, yeah, go for it. So I was like, all right,
All right.
getting up at 3:30 and I'm going. And like, I just ran solo. And I love doing that because I can just go as fast as I freaking want.
Sure.
So I was just, everywhere I wanted to go and scouted it all. And man, Iowa, that's the first time I've ever walked Iowa. We talked about it when we did the Iowa Deer Classic. We talked to people who were there, but I've never walked it before. I got a video. We're going to post a video of the scouting trip. I don't know if it'll be on Dropping Pins or we'll just post it to the YouTube, but I took a whole bunch of footage. I walked 20 feet out of my car, ducked into the woods, and there was like 4 massive rubs, like
So
right
you're
off
just
the trail. And I was
already
just like,
like,
this is freaking nuts.
I'm in love.
This is nuts.
You're not even there for 5 minutes.
I'm not even joking, dude. The car was right behind me.
Oh
It
my
dipped
God.
off the trail, and there was like, holy shit, rub. It's crazy. Yeah,
Big
so-
rubs too, not like
No, they were like big.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
oh freaking A.
Yeah. So it was fun. I got to just roam and do my thing and walk till dark. And going up and down the hills, my hips were just. I walked back to the car. It was dark when I got to the car.
Okay.
Hopped in the car, drove home 4 hours. When I got out, it took me like 5 minutes to get across my driveway because my hips were just locked up. I could barely move to get to the front door.
What'd you do? How'd you deal with that? Did you get some like
I
ice
took a
packs?
hot bath and I stretched in the bath, and
Oh
they
my
loosened up and they were okay.
Terrible pain. That's not fun. So how many did you find?
I just found 2 sheds. Both were fresh. Both were like the one that was like dripping in blood. I posted it to my Instagram account.
I think I used that for the cover art of the Daily Deer today.
Yeah,
just
that
went and
one was
grabbed it
like
from
the
your page.
freshest looking one. Yeah, sorry.
I-
Sorry, Brian. I did. I wasn't trying to.
Brian just said it for the listeners. Derek stole my target buck shed.
I literally
Are you
found
hunting Iowa?
in
Brian?
Illinois when I was down there late season. I found a shed off of his target buck.
Oh, for real? He's not even joking.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah.
Well,
It-
that's
it was
guess you got to hunt harder.
It was on accident. I wasn't really shed hunting. We were just scouting.
I didn't mean to hit on your girlfriend. She just gave me her phone number. It was
Your
not on
girlfriend
purpose.
said I was cute.
What do you want me to do with that information? What am I supposed to do? You know,
She's hot. It's a big buck.
that's what this feels like.
No, so I found 2 sheds and one dead buck that looked like it. I don't know how bad they have EHD in that part of the state, but it was laying in a creek, like on a stone bank in the middle of the creek, and it looked like it had just come out of velvet when it died. Because like the antlers didn't have velvet, it had been laying for a while. But when you find a deer and all of like the beadwork and the bases and like the points on every tine were super duper sharp, like those get rounded off as they make rubs and fight, and like the beadwork gets rounded the more they shred trees.
Interesting.
This one was like when you touch it, like it was like out.
Wow.
So I'm assuming it had just come out of
did you do
Velvet.
it? You can't. Did you do anything with it or?
No, I mean, I don't think
So,
I think
okay.
in Iowa you need like a salvage tag.
Okay.
So I took a photo of it. It's in the videos I took, and then not far from there, like literally within 100 yards, I found the first shed.
That's 400 yards, man. I gotta go down there, and so I can just like feel good about myself. Michael asked what the pour is. It's Basil Hayden toast tonight. We are gonna go with the Red Line Elements single barrel, but it's like 75% alcohol by volume, and I just didn't feel like doing that to myself. I got too much shit to do. So one pour of this will probably be plenty fine. I've like considered giving up drinking just for the sheer fact that there's just not enough value in it. I don't have a problem with alcohol. Like, there's no issue between me and alcohol, but just there's no
It's not helping.
like what am I? If I don't drink that much, I just drink on Tuesdays now. That's it. It's kind of like
God bless you.
I'll have a bourbon, and that's kind of it.
I have a beer here and there.
The beer, I like beer, and probably my favorite beers. I'm switching topics here, just on a side note.
This is important stuff.
Go to a good beer garden in the summer, and for whatever reason, those IPAs at the beer garden will get you good. You have 2-3 of those, you're feeling like you're having a damn good time, but you're standing in a fucking field doing nothing, and you're like, this is the best day of my life. The kids are having fun. Everyone's having fun. And it's like nothing's happening at all. No one's having fun. It's just like,
But you are kind of.
my wife's like, chill out. You're so
At
loud.
least you think you
I'm
are.
like, not that loud. It's fine. I'm outside, So that's like when I'll get real good. That's when I like my beers.
There's a great little outdoor beer garden in West Bend on the west side of what is it, Little Cedar Lake. It's
Okay.
Ackerman's Grove. It's a little county park up on the hill overlooking the lake.
Yeah.
And they got like the little trailer out there, and like Tuesdays and Thursdays they
Yeah.
do like they got like Third Space like
Oh,
breweries
Great.
out there.
Yep.
You go out there, sit at the picnic table. They got jumbo Jenga. Have an IPA. Kids are doing jumbo Jenga. Like life doesn't
It's
get
like the
much
best.
better. Go down by the lake, catch some bullfrogs.
Freaking perfect. They got one of those in Heartland called Nixon Park. They have a whole playground, a water pad thing, splash pad, a creek flowing through with the stocked pond, and a beer garden with tables everywhere. I'm like, that's like a pretty regular trip for us, because
Can we live here?
you just drink and your kids go play with all the other kids, and you find the other parents. You're like, yeah, right. It's been a rough week.
Which ones are yours? I don't know. Me neither.
They're around. I hear them yelling somewhere. Stay out of the water. Just don't drown. And that's kind of it. I don't know.
Yeah. No, that's good stuff.
My kids built a podcast studio upstairs, and they have like some foam house they got from grandma, and they dumped it upside down and called it a podcast studio and got all the stuff in there. Like, yeah, we have Wednesday nights. I was like, you want Wednesday nights?
That's
Just
awesome.
come down here and do a podcast. I don't care.
Jude can run the sound.
Oh, fuck. The kid's not allowed to touch anything ever again. But you're bringing your boy with this week. So I guess let's just, you did the Daily Deer this morning. Talk about, I think that was more tip focused on like, you gotta go where deer are. They could drop sheds anywhere, but you're trying to get in the areas where they're likely to run into brush. And I don't know if it matters what side of the hill you're looking for in hill country because of the sun hits it. And I know Spartan Forge has that sun layer now.
Yeah.
Like there's all these technical things that you should be thinking about.
So many of them are like considered technical, but like as you walk through the woods, if you spend some time, like they're just things that you're just going to gravitate toward because that's where the deer are. So if you follow deer sign, you'll be in the right spot.
My thing is like just get on a deer trail.
Like so,
But I also don't know what I'm doing.
Calder mentioned like they have tons of snow right now. He said he had 4. We have no snow here, which is freaking ridiculous.
Weird.
It's
We have no
February
snow.
in Wisconsin.
I want some snow so my
We
kids have
have
something
no
to do.
snow.
We've gotten zero snow, really. Like it's been nothing.
It's been terrible, like, which is great, but it's also weird. But like, if you have snow, obviously, like little patches of pine trees, evergreen trees that are like in and around hardwoods, the pine trees are going to block all that snow. It's going to get caught up in the limbs. I found so many sheds underneath pine trees, like the southern edge of pine trees or
Okay.
like groves of pine trees where it melts out. Sun comes in, melts. There's very little snow there. There's obviously just more opportunity for deer to find food where the snow's melted.
Mhm.
So that's where the idea of like south-facing slope comes in.
Well, I didn't know that's why, because of where food is and where it's going to be melting. I
Yeah,
wouldn't
so
have
they're
thought of
gonna
that.
like absorb some sunlight and like get a little warmth, but also like that's where the snow is obviously gonna melt the most. So like there's more opportunity for browse. Right? Like
New light bulb just turned on.
mushrooms, ferns, anything that's on the ground, if it's covered in snow,
They can't get
they
it.
got to work to get it.
Yeah.
If it's melted on a south-facing slope, it's way
They'll
easier.
occupy more time there. They'll occupy more time there. There's a
They
likelihood.
burn less
energy.
energy to
yeah.
gain more energy.
I forget that Instagram is a separate live feed on my computer, so I don't see those comments flowing into our dashboard. But someone just commented, if found Illinois, we'd be we've been hit pretty hard with it. Found two, EHD.
EHD.
Found 2 last week dead. One of them died in Velvet. I reached out to Doug during. I want to get him back on the podcast because I actually don't. I know there's a difference between EHD and CWD. I just don't understand the nuances of them because I think they present similarly.
CWD, like, I'm not exactly sure. Like, I don't even know that, like, the scientists are exactly sure on, like, nose-to-nose contact. Yeah. EHD is when there's heavy drought years, right? It's like from a fly, like a midge fly or something that can, like, bite the deer. So, like, when there's drought years, which this year was a bad drought year during the summer, water sources are far more, few and far between. So, like, deer congregate around the water, and then, like, the fly or whatever that, like, can infect them is also around the water. So, like, way more deer get it on drought years. When, like, there's plenty water all over and the deer are more widespread, there's less concentrations of deer at these water sources. So, like, it's less likely. So I know, like, southern Iowa got absolutely hammered this year, and people have found, like, just ridiculous amounts of dead deer.
Weird. You see that and you're like, what's going on in the world? You just wonder. But thanks for the explanation.
I could be wrong. I'm not a freaking
expert
on the topic. This is just what I've picked up over the years.
South-facing slopes, great tip. Good to go. Yeah, I mean, dude, I don't know, the one shed I found, which you're well aware of, is the one hanging behind you. I found that in Grant County, and it was in November, and it just was under like a shrub. just
hanging out.
Was just where, yeah. I mean, I know where the deer travel there. It's a heavy concentration of deer. That's where most of the bucks tend to be. Size-wise, I don't know. That's like a fine size. I've happily shot that with my gun in November.
Heck yeah.
But anytime I've actively gone to look for sheds, I've come up empty-handed. And maybe just because I also wonder, like, oh, did I go at the wrong time? Did this already all get picked over? Did they not drop? Like, there's too many variables out on public where it's like, I don't know if I'm a shitty shed hunter, if I'm just not doing some things like as I should be. I don't.
It's just way.
I need to just go with you one time or something.
It's way more challenging nowadays because so many people are in the woods doing it, and it's just, you don't know on public land when people walked, when the deer dropped. Like, it's just tough.
Yeah.
I can tell you that when you find a shed, especially like a fresh shed. So when I was in Iowa, crossed this creek, found the dead buck. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Then I walked through this little grassy bottomland that had some willows, and there was like early season buck sign.
Yeah.
And as I like came up this hill, there was a really nice draw between these two ridges that came down, and there was just scrapes all over the place from the fall. I was like, oh, this looks really good. Walked down this big, heavy beaten trail through the grass, and boom, shed laying up there. I was like, okay. So once you find a shed, like the early season and late season, those bucks will bachelor up. So if you find one, definitely scour the immediate area for not only for the match, but if bucks are together, doesn't mean they're going to shed their antlers at the same time. But I found the second one from a different deer within 200 yards of that one.
Wow.
So, like, I walked 15 miles, and the two that I found were within 200 yards of each other. So, like, pockets, right? Like, wherever the deer are living, that's where they are. And if that's the time that you walk there is the time that they were dropping, you could find 5 sheds within 200 yards.
It's like morel mushroom hunting.
Yeah.
Like,
pockets.
you find a pocket,
Yeah.
like, there's me more.
Pockets.
Find one, you better start looking real closely everywhere else. Also, never found any morel mushrooms.
I don't know if I've ever
I'm not
found
the person to talk to about I found like a couple, but I'm like, where's the other ones? There's supposed to be a whole bunch, and it just doesn't ever happen for
You
me.
can
Like,
sell
come
those and
on.
make money, so I don't look for those. I just look for stupid antlers.
I just want to eat them, man. I love to eat them. You can sell antlers for money too, by the way.
Yeah,
Plenty
that's
of
true. That's true.
people at deer farms that they just shed and they go pick them up. And
You could probably find one.
my
there, for
buddy's
sure.
dad has a deer farm. He's got antlers in his basement stacked up to the ceiling.
Just ridiculously
It's
weird,
insane.
crazy ones.
I don't know what they do with them. I'm sure he sells them or
They
something.
probably make lamps or chandeliers.
Dog bone. I think he just sells them in bulk, and then whatever people do with it from there.
Dude, there was this guy from, where is he from, Maine or Vermont? Somewhere out east.
It's the same.
Who he would go out and find all these moose antlers, and I'm a shit antler aficionado, so I found some moose antlers in my day. I think that's like my favorite thing to look for.
Mhm.
And I like started following this dude on Instagram because he was finding all these cool sheds. I didn't know this at the time, but he like it was called like Yellow Lab something or another.
Okay.
And I thought it was because he went shed hunting with his dog. But then I started seeing all of his feeds of him with the giant bandsaw just cutting up all these beautiful moose sheds because he sold them as dog chews. So like I was like, I can't watch him cut up these antlers. This is anarchy. So I had to unfollow him
Anarchy.
because I couldn't watch these beautiful moose sheds being cut up into dog chews.
That's sad for you.
It
to
hurt
see
my
that.
soul, dude. It hurt my soul a
Oh
lot.
my gosh.
Like it doesn't matter at all and has zero implications on my life, but I just couldn't visually
I have to
watch him
share.
do that.
I have to share something with you because let's see if I can figure this out. Are you seeing? Okay, it'll take a second to show up on the screen. But as a moose shed hunter yourself,
I am.
once this loads, Rack Hub has the
Yeah.
RH2XL, which I think would be glorious. Do you have a matched moose?
I
set?
do. One of them's in good shape. The other one's in really bad shape.
Look at that. So you can get
Yeah, I think
Like,
you get, like
what a
it can
cool way to-
hold an elk or a moose antler.
which
Oh, that looks
until I saw
frickin'
this
cool.
image of the RH2XL holding moose antlers, it never occurred to me that I could mount moose antler. You know what I mean? Like it just didn't. I've never moose hunted. That's the only thing I would have ever thought of. I was like, oh, you got to go kill a moose to have moose antlers. But seeing them displayed like that, that's really impressive because they're such big paddles that it still works without the head.
Yeah, it's better without the head, in my opinion. Think
Well,
about
then your
how
wife's
big
not
a
gonna be
frickin'
mad.
moose.
So there's a dead animal hanging, and you could hang like I mean, if you have a impressive ceiling with a vaulted ceiling or something like that, a fireplace, well, that's pretty freaking great. Same thing with elk antlers.
We probably said this once before, but my buddy Lane, I've gone moose shed hunting with him a whole bunch. He was a music teacher up in Peshtigo, still is. That's how we got to know each other. He literally taught in the room next door. He's a big archery hunter,
Okay.
so we were like buds. He's a few years younger, and we started going up moose shed hunting. And the first time I went and found some, I had him up with me in my car when I was up in Townsend. And he's got a cabin, family cabin, 5 minutes away from our family cabin, which is just weird. But I was like, hey, man, are you up at the cabin? He's like, yeah, we are. We're out at the bonfire. I was like, I brought my moose sheds. Do you want to see them? And he was like, yeah, bring them over. So I bring him over to the fire and we're all sitting there. And his dad is just looking at these moose sheds. And the first ones I found, I went with a buddy who's really knows his shit. And he walked me into a beautiful area. And I found two like once in a lifetime sheds, like really big freaking sheds. For my first time going, it was unbelievable. So I'm showing it, and Lane's dad is like, "Oh my god!" He's like, "This is it. Like, you guys just have to find these." He's like, "It costs like 20 to 30 grand to go on like a moose hunt to Alaska." He's like, "The meat is awesome," but he's like, "You just want to have some moose antlers." He's like, "You can go find them for free." He's like, "You did it. You got them."
You did it.
And I was like, I never thought about it like that, but I was like, looking at that picture.
Could you imagine how much a mount would cost? Like it costs like $600 to $900 to mount a whitetail.
What is a
How much
moose?
does it cost a freaking mount of moose?
And like a moose and an elk mount, like the bottom of the neck's got to be like on the floor
Yeah.
of your 8-foot ceiling to fit. The frickin'
Yeah, if
antlers
you're in like
there.
a ranch house or like I don't have vaulted ceilings, I'm in a two-story home, but like it doesn't matter. It's not fitting anywhere in here.
Oh my gosh, a guy that I've done some work with in the past, Augie
Okay,
from Oconomowoc here, Paps is his last name. Augie, he and his dad went on an elk hunt.
is he a
and-
Pabst?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's neat.
So he and his dad went on an elk mule deer hunt this past fall.
Okay.
And his dad shot a really beautiful bull the last day, but the back end, like after, I don't know what you call them, but like where the back splits on a 6x6, it was busted off. So he just brought it this past weekend. And I'm
Oh,
gonna
okay.
fix it up
Yeah.
for him. And like he sent me pictures and it looks big. He brought it in. Oh my god. It's taller than both my kids. It's like this big around.
Oh,
like it's
wow.
insane.
It's like a
And I'm like, is your dad mounting this? He's like, yeah. And it just makes you think like, how big is that freaking
Where's it gonna
mount
go?
be? Better have some 18-foot ceilings.
yeah. That's one reason to get a vaulted
Yeah.
ceiling house if you're a hunter.
I
So-
do have one moose shed in our living room upstairs. So I bought like a support. It's not like 4-inch shed, but it's like hanging sideways. And then a good friend of mine who's really crafty and artsy does like macrame, and she macrameed this super cool like
Oh yeah, I saw
thing
that house.
hanging
Yeah.
off of it, and we got that in the living room. Looks pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. I thought that was really cool when I saw it. So anyway, the whole thing, like there's all sorts of fun ways to decorate. Going back to the beginning, the rack
Rack hub.
stuff. I'm curious to see what else TJ is going to bring to market this year, just because he's an innovator. It's just what he does.
I've got the RH1. No,
Yeah, two.
two.
where you can
The
put
holds two?
Yeah.
I've got 2 of those up between some mounts with
Yeah.
like match sets and freaking slick as could be.
That's great.
I told you I had Gus. Like he like did the one up.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
helped him, but
It's a neat product. I think it's cool. Back to the Iowa stuff. So you scoured the area immediately around where you found the one, 200 yards around or 200 yards in a, like when you say 200 yards around that, 200,
I'm guessing. I
but
didn't
just
measure.
you covered a lot of. Were you just doing like circles, loops out? Like
I
how do
actually
you?
didn't. I should have went the other way because I just had like a direction of travel in my mind based on like where the shed was, and I followed the trail. And I like it was on the base of a hill. He was on a trail through the bottom, and then there's like a ridge that started, and the trail wrapped around the ridge. So I walked the bottoms like out to the creek,
Yep.
maybe like 60 yards wide. I walked all that, and then I walked a trail that went up the side hill, and the second shed was on the side hill. But then once I like went up the ridge, there was like, I mean, like 30 rubs within a small
Oh,
area. There was
God.
like, you know, the bucks bed up on this ridge.
Yeah.
It was like a thicker little point overlooking that valley. So all that sign in the valley, they're just bedding up on that ridge. And so they just were coming off that ridge
Yep.
at whatever time and dropped their antlers. So like found a little pocket where they like to live. Boom, 2 sheds,
How many did you find in total?
just 2.
You found the 2. Were
Just
they
2.
impressive? Like were they like something you'd be like, well, yeah. You
The
know?
one was like this, and the other one was a 3-point, slightly smaller. So one was like a 1.5-year-old, the 3-point, really small pedicle.
Okay.
The other one was like a 2-year-old.
And you're gonna go back to that same property or a
Nope.
different one? You
Nope.
covered that
This
one.
weekend we're going to 2 different ones. My parents are going to come down
Yep.
with us. I've shed
Yeah,
hunted
why
with
isn't your
them
mom calling
forever.
into the podcast yet?
Yeah, they bought a pontoon. So I guess they drove down to Appleton. They're in Appleton right now.
Oh,
Because I texted my
wow.
mom. I was like, call it and tell a shed story. My mom's got all the shed stories. But they met with the people that are paying for the pontoon.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so
Well, that's exciting.
fun little toy for the summer
Yeah,
for the kids.
dude, those are so fun for the kids.
Yeah, you haven't been to the cabin yet, but my parents'
No,
cabin.
I think I have a slightly open invitation.
Yeah, you do. We got to get you up there. I was thinking about what we could do up there this winter that would be fun, but
Anything to
built-
get me out of my house.
we built like my dad added on a great room. There was like a family room, and then we built a big room off it, and then we built a fireplace.
'Kay.
And up on the fireplace are 3 of those like mountain Mike skulls for mounting antlers, right?
Mhm.
And they're sheds. So there's 6 sheds. They're the biggest sheds that we have, match sets. And we were looking up there. My mom found 5 of the 6 biggest sheds we've
Oh
ever
my
found.
God.
So
So she's
she
just
is
a
the
beast.
shed. She's the
Yeah.
shed hound.
When we do the shed hunt at the Foam Fest, which is your idea, which I think has become like a favored tradition. We did 3 years of that now.
Yeah.
So it'll be 4 this year. New property because the
Yeah.
Morgan Marsh Archers are
They're built-
erecting a new building.
Did they build it?
They're in
Or
process.
is it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's happening. But I find that to be insanely comical that it's very much like the Easter eggs. You plant them out there, you have a count, and then at the end there's always one where like, oh my God, I can't find it. And you know it's there.
Yeah.
And you put it somewhere and it's like, so finding them is really hard. Even when you know they're there and you're looking for them, you still can't find the damn things.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's like you're
Okay.
looking for a stick in a pile of sticks. I mean, really, that's what it feels like to me.
One of the daily deers that's coming up is about using trail cameras to help you with shed hunting.
Yep.
Which is like it's a little bit too late to do that now, but like
If they've
for
been out,
upcoming seasons. But of all like those 6 sheds up on that wall, like the biggest ones, 2 of those sets were 100% because of
You had intel quick.
cameras. Yep.
Yeah. So you're like,
And
I
the
know they're
biggest
gonna be
one,
there.
this buck we called Big Louie, who's by far the biggest deer we've ever had on camera or seen up in the Northwoods. Huge deer. I have a picture of him at 9 in the morning with both antlers on, and then he's at like 7 at night with both antlers off. Same day. So we knew,
Yeah.
he's right here. My parents and I went out there, and granted, we've been shed hunting for like 20 years at this point. So
Yep.
like we kind of know where to look and we're familiar with the area. I think we looked for 5 weekends in a row. Put on over 100 miles between the 3 of us
And
in
you know
that
they're
spot,
there. Yeah.
and we know they're there, and we couldn't find them. Finally, my mom found them. Like the weekend, I wasn't up there because Gus was actually
where did they
born
end up
that
being in
weekend.
proximity to where you think like
Very close
did you
to where
already
we
walk
thought.
over a bunch or was
Very
it a
close.
freshly looked area or was it like an area that had already been like scraped
So-
for
That spot was like a huge cedar swamp.
Okay.
We're close to the edge. I had his picture close to the edge of the cedar swamp, and then there's a big hardwood ridge. Part of me thought he was in the hardwoods. My dad thought he was down in the cedar swamp for sure. We'd found sheds in the cedar swamp. And I think the story goes, my mom was really sick, like had a head cold, didn't really want to like go out in the cold and walk. My dad was like, hey, let's just go for a couple quick hours. And like, if you feel terrible, we'll come back. So my mom being a little bulldog, a little trooper, it was like, okay. So they get out there and there's one little tiny area, which like you would never, it's not on a map. You would barely notice it, but it's slightly wetter. It's almost like spring or like it runs through the cedar swamp and it's just a little bit wetter and a little bit thicker.
Okay.
And my dad was like, okay, well, like I want you to walk along the edge of that. I'll walk on this outside edge. And we're going to make a loop around it. And they were walking and my mom did what she always does, which was she like found a stump or like a little hump that was slightly elevated. She walked up on it and she just stands there and just like slowly 360s and looks all the way around. And she freaking saw some tines sticking up and then looked over and 10 feet away was the other one.
Oh, Jesus.
And they were laying right along that little
what an
bitty
exciting
thick edge.
feeling.
And then she walked
Did
up.
she scream?
Yeah, I mean,
Like I would be
I'll
losing
show
my
you the pictures.
freaking mind. I would be like, oh my God, I'd be losing it. I don't
She
think people
was-
understand how exciting it is.
She didn't have she had like lost her voice because she was sick. But I have some really funny videos of my mom.
I found it.
Yeah, like that. She was being all cocky, even though she was sick. She's got these antlers. She's walking out. My dad's taking a video. She got these 2 giant antlers. She's walking out of the woods and she's like, oh, not a very good day. Only found 2, 1 match set. Damn. And then she like gets the smile. She walks away. And it's the funniest thing, but they were huge. I mean, I think I measured them and the antlers were like 158 and 3/8 inches or 3/4 inches without a spread. And the deer was easily 20 inches wide. So like talking close to 180-inch deer
On public.
in the Northwoods in
Yeah.
the Nicolay National Forest.
That's sick.
Which
That's
was
disgusting.
Will not see one like that again.
Unreal, man.
And my mom found the sheds.
Jose said, I'm the worst shed hunter ever. Whoever lived. Pretty sure, anyways. No,
There's a lot
I'm
of
also the worst shed hunter ever. I ought to just go with you to freaking Iowa. Like,
I'll say the same
Tell me
thing that
when.
I said to my drawing kids today because we got a new class. We're like a week into class and we're doing some drawing exercises. I'm showing them some ideas on how to like, draw things realistically.
Okay.
And some kids are killing it, right? Like they get it. And then you got the kid next to him who's struggling, looking at the kid next to them going, well, geez, I'm never going to be able to do this because look at what they did. And I said to him, I was
That's
like,
intimidating.
remember, there's 7 different like intelligences, how your brain works. Some people are visual learners and like organizing space visually
Mhm.
is how their brain works. Those kids are going to be good at this. The same exact thing
You're going to
applies to
suck at
shed
it. No, just
hunting.
kidding.
Yeah, I told him you're going to have to work harder. at it.
Johnny, you're just not going to.
There's other classes, computer programming. Check that out. There's English language arts. No. But no, the same thing goes with like shed hunting, and even like I think of Bo Bilo.
Mhm.
Bo can look at a trail cam picture from like 5 years ago and be like, yeah, that's the same buck I shot this year. Like he visually can just gets it. Like Bo is also one of the best shed hunters I've ever met because he visually can pick apart, right? And like
It just
find
reminds
the
me of
thing.
like you ever seen like an AI like identifying things.
Like the Matrix.
Like there's videos where like motorcycle traffic cams or whatever where it's just scanning people's faces, scanning the road, scanning this and alerting. If you see like the behind the scenes of AI stuff, like how it actually functions in the back, I've maybe seen some weird shit at work for like sonar systems and stuff and for different companies, whatever. As you get to see the underpinning of
See
how
some
this stuff
shit.
is like really functioning at
Yeah.
like a crazy rate. I feel like that's how Bo would be seeing it scanning, but like red flag here, this there, scanning this, scanning
Yeah.
square, and that's doing this.
That's
Nope,
how
nope,
brain-
threat,
that's how
threat, danger. No, oh, shed, got it. Boom, pulls
Shed.
it up. Like ding, 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 ding.
The thing with Bo is like he could be behind a rise and he'll have scanned through like I feel like there's a shed over that rise, and then he'll take like 2 steps. Yep, there is. It's right there. It's right where I thought.
I should probably go with him.
He's
then.
freaking good, dude. No, don't go with him. You'll have anxiety like I do. I can't.
I'm
I
telling-
walk with Bo.
I
I'm
know
like,
what he would do.
I
He'd
better
be
be
like-
on my A game.
I'll be the kid on the shed hunting at Foam Fest. Like, have you checked over here yet? Have you checked over here yet by that log?
I would walk like 10 feet over there to your left.
Yeah, you did
Your-
it.
Your
I'd be
other
like,
left.
I'd be like, Bo, I did it. Did you see that? I found it. He'd be like, good job, buddy.
I knew you did it.
That's the kind of support I need right now.
Hey, that's all right.
And it's like a little one. I'm like, hey, the little ones are harder to find. We
Way
have
harder.
said this every year now. It's like a shtick. The little ones are hard to find.
That's
Forget
why
the
I
big
always.
ones. Your mom found the big ones. Of course she did. Those are easy all day long, no problem.
It's like when we put the sheds out for the kids. I always bring like one little tiny one, and that could I give all the candy to.
Yeah,
like you
right,
can
here
get
you
as much
go.
as you want, buddy.
Tim just commented, I knew this weekend down in Iowa that Derek was going to score. That's what Tim said.
Oh, Hinkie?
Yeah.
Is it Tim Hinkie?
Yeah. He knew it.
Tim knows that I'm just lucky with that stuff.
You're only lucky. You can't be lucky all the time. You're always finding sheds.
If you walk
Dude, you
far
find
enough,
sheds when
you'll
you're-
find sheds.
You're finding sheds when you're bow hunting. Oh, I saw you're bow hunting. Boom, found a shed. Like, I don't know what I'd be more excited about. The fact that I get to shoot a deer, maybe the fact that I already won at that point. I'm like, I don't even care if I see a
Just
deer. I
turn
got
around
a
and
shed.
go home.
I've already won the day. That's what I felt when I found that one when we were gun hunting. I was like, look, guys, my weekend's good. I found a shed.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
That was like before when you guys were like
were
going to set
scouting
up
the day
stands.
before,
Yeah.
I was like, guys, I'm set. Like, then maybe this buck will show up. How cool would that be?
That'd be sick. Like, I
did.
mean, something like that though, just like makes you feel like,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Like, oh,
I was like, I'm in the right
bucks.
area. There's bucks here.
Yeah.
Clearly, look what I found.
Yeah.
I don't know how to tell what a buck bed is, but I know this is a shed antler that came from a buck. It wouldn't have come from a doe.
probably not. I mean, it could have been.
This is the realest sign I could find.
I'm fairly certain that at some point in time, a buck was here.
he was literally here. And guys, we are here too. I'm telling you, this is it. I'm gonna hang my stand right here. That's like about as tactical as I get. Don't hunt the sign. That's all made at nighttime. I'm like, bullshit. The deer were here. I'm hunting it.
One of the crazier stories of a shed hunt that I don't know why this one just sticks out in my mind, but we had the first shed my dad ever found. So we started getting into shed hunting. I was in high school. I think I was a sophomore in
You
high
told
school.
the story where you got to go to that property in Buffalo.
Where we did the Buffalo County. Yep. We did the Buffalo County. I had emailed the outfitter down there, Tom Andrew. He let us come walk. And I found a shed actually on public down in Buffalo. First shed we've ever found. It was a big 5-point, super cool. We went up to the cabin. That was my spring break. Like, drove from Buffalo County up to the cabin.
Mhm.
And we were so excited to go walk up there. And we went and walked up there actually looking. And my dad found a shed, really nice 4-point shed in the spot we had like looked at before. Holy crap. We found 2 huge sheds. Like, we can actually find sheds. And that was like a huge thing. I was
Yeah.
like 15. I was like, holy
You
crap.
hold it, and you're like, I feel like I'm holding a piece of disbelief.
Yeah. Like, holy
Is
shit.
this real?
So it was like probably 2 years later after my dad found that first one, we were back in that same general area and he found it in the woods, but there's like a big grass field like close by. And I got into like shooting my recurve. So I had like a recurve bow with flew feather fletchings on an
Okay.
arrow where it
Yep.
slows down and like big stump shooter points, like with the springs, like
Yeah,
judo
yeah, the
points
judo
for
point.
shooting
So you
like
can just go
rabbits
shoot
and
stu- yeah.
stumps. And like I just launched this arrow out into the grass field. And my dad was like, "Oh, I'll go grab it for you." So he walks out into this grass field, and this is only like 150 yards from where he found that shed like 2 years ago. But he picks up the arrow and goes, "Holy crap!" Right next to the arrow was the matching sign to
my
the shed he
God.
found 2 years ago, which was super cool. But
Could
it
have
was
hit
just
the
like
thing for all you know. My
that's
gosh.
how you find sheds.
You
Just
shoot kudu
do the
points at
most
'em.
random shit, and you'll find one.
Oh, judo. I said kudu. Kudu makes
Kudu
broadheads.
points.
They're at Gayos, Great American Outdoor Show, and they did some OKS Hunter.
That's Lyndon
broadheads.
Lauren,
I
dude.
know.
That's
I know.
Lyndon. He's doing all the marketing stuff
Yeah.
for them.
I'm wondering how that's going. I wonder if anyone sees Lyndon at Kudu Point, ask about the OKS Hunter broadheads because there are some.
Yeah, he had it like engraved.
Yeah. I don't know.
And
how many
also
they did,
talk
but
to
I think they
Lyndon.
just like were showing that they can do it, and maybe like our logo is one of the ones or something. But it's pretty neat.
Yeah, if you get the chance to talk to Lyndon Lauren, I suggest you talk to him. He's the coolest, nicest dude.
What a I get mad when people are that nice.
Yeah, he's almost like you almost like want to like think he's like what an asshole.
He
for
must have
being
like
that
a
nice.
mask, right? He must just be a dick at some point.
At
but
some point,
he's
there's got to be something wrong with that guy. he's too well rounded.
not.
No, he was awesome, man.
Yeah, he's a great guy. I gotta do more push-ups and time to if I go out for Oregon.
There's nothing I
Not
could have
enough
done to
push-ups
prepare
for
him
that.
better for.
Yeah, jeez. Oh my gosh.
That
No,
g-
it's
That gun that I shot in Oregon was suppressed. We were
That's what
talking
you're
about the suppressor before, and that thing, that was awesome.
700 yards with the Nosler.
But like it doesn't feel like it kicked.
Ammo.
Like there was no bang, so like you didn't like want to
Were you just
flinch.
confused? You're like, but did you just drop?
It was I don't know. It was weird.
I'm still waiting for Keegan to finish that film so I can watch it.
I actually was messaging with him the other day, and I was like, "So, how much pressure is Clark putting on you for this video?" And he's like, "Pretty good amount." I was
Not
like, well,
enough.
maybe-
Not enough. Let me tell you how much, but not enough. He just tagged us in a turkey post today too. I'm like, oh,
See,
I don't care about this yet. Give me the other thing. Quit procrastinating.
he's not busy. He was like going to like some freaking Spanish duck hunt or like something crazy.
He's always in some other freaking planet.
Yeah,
He's traveling the world like all the time. He's always at an airport or in his, I don't even know. I don't know how he gets around, but like he's here, he's there, he's here, he's there, he's there, he's here.
it was a fun conversation with him because while we were out in Oregon, like obviously everyone there was new to him. I was new to him also,
Yeah.
but like everyone is asking. Basically, he gets like all the same questions, right? Like you travel everywhere, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, where have you been? Like, so like it loses its,
Yeah.
it's like luster a little bit when everyone asks you. But he's talking about all these amazing things, and then like the conversation he and I are having in his Suburban is like about like tiny little local lakes that we both fished.
Oh,
Like, I'm
yeah.
going, oh, you know that one? Like, have you been at this one? And like we're talking about like all the stupid
'Cause he
shit
used
in
to be
this
a- he
one
used to
little
be,
area.
a fishing guide
Yeah,
back in the day.
by Sturgeon Bay and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we grew up very close to each other, 30 minutes apart.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not too far from
Sturgeon
I think,
Bay?
Yeah, Appleton area, right? Is that-
Yeah, well, he grew up in like Sturgeon Bay area,
Okay.
and I was in Green Bay, which is right there.
right there.
We've-
You Northerners.
Yeah.
Good stuff. I have the phone lines open, but no one's called in yet. And last week it just like everyone piled in at the end. So I don't know. It's getting close to closing time. So
Yeah, so this
maybe
weekend,
we'll take one, but
my son is super excited to go to Iowa. We got a hotel, and he's like, "Oh, I've never stayed in a hotel." I was like, "Well, yeah, you have. You're just really little." He's like, "Does our room have a TV in it?"
oh,
Yeah, but he's like, "There's a TV." I was like, "Right by our bed." He's like, "No way." So he's super jacked. We went and got him some like Wrangler outdoor pants, and we're gonna get him some. We're gonna go get some hiking boots
Mhm.
tomorrow because he's outgrown. He's just grown like a weed. So he's had like 2 or 3 pairs of hiking boots, but he's outgrown all of them. So we gotta get him some new ones. So he's really excited. And I was like, "Hey, bud, do you want to take?" He loves the GoPro and like doing
Oh,
like little
yeah.
blog stuff. So I was like,
Yeah.
"Do you want to carry the GoPro and the walkie-talkie?" And he's like, "Yes, we're gonna make a YouTube channel." Sweet, dude, let's do it. So he's all jacked up. So
That's exciting,
it
dude.
should be fun.
Hack, you should bring your computer and an HDMI cable so you can plug Netflix into the TV at night. Otherwise, you're stuck with whatever bullshit
Is on the TV.
the 4 channels that the hotel gives you.
Well, I'm hoping that we're gonna
So
walk
tired.
and he'll be able to. Just,
Then when he falls
pass
asleep, you
out.
can watch a
Yeah.
Netflix show or something.
yeah,
Not hotel TV. It's just the two. What you said, your parents are coming too.
My
You guys all
parents are
sharing a
coming
room,
too.
or they got their own room?
they got their own room. and they
He's
got
like, I want to go to
some
grandma
iron.
grandpa's room. Does that look like ours room? He just want to like probably investigate both of them.
Do you want to sleep in grandma?
It's like our room, but it's the opposite. It's like a mirror. Yeah, we share a wall.
Do you want to sleep in grandma's room? No,
Well, he might.
we got a king bed, so
Yeah.
we're gonna hang out.
That's a lot of room
yeah.
for one. You and one kid. That's a ton of room. You
Easy-
specifically, you're not.
We won't use much of it because he's a snuggler, so he'll be
Oh, that'll be
right
good.
up on
Yeah.
snuggling.
That'll be nice, man. How fun.
It'll be good.
Cool.
So
Oh.
hopefully we can find something.
Is it? What's the weather this weekend down there? Is it
It's supposed to be chilly,
decent?
chilly-ish. Saturday there's potential for snow.
Okay. Hopefully
But-
not. Hopefully not much.
It'll be what it'll be. We'll find something to do either way.
Yeah.
So like having gone on Saturday and like just running like crazy and doing everything that like I wanted to get done, I
Mhm.
feel far less pressure. Whereas like, if like I was going down there and like a little part of me would be like, I want this to be really fun for him, but then like in the back of my mind would be like, God, I just really want to get to that back
I have
corner.
that problem.
You know what I mean? Like
I have that problem.
I know that
Holly
would be in
will
me.
stop me when I'm with the kids, and she's like, "You have children with you. What is wrong with you?"
Stop.
I'm like, "It's something switch. The brain switches." And I'm like, "Let's go, keep up. What are you guys all on for?" They're like, "We're hungry. We're tired." I was like,
It's only mile
"Let's go,
7.
guys. We just gotta give her like one more bend. Come
Get
on."
across the creek.
And they're like,
let's
Holly's
go."
like, "You're pushing them too hard. You gotta chill." I was like, Fine. I guess it's not gonna happen today. And I get all crabby. We're like morale mushroom. We got like 800 ticks on us. I'm like, let's keep going. She's like, we've already picked off 16 ticks. What do you mean?
It's only Lyme disease.
It's just freaking come on. She's like, you're so far, and we forget we have to walk all the way back out. I was like, oh, you should let me go on my own. She's like, well, next time I freaking will. It's like when I used to bring her to trade shows. She's like, I'm not going to one of those with you ever again. Because you just stop and talk to everybody.
And they stand and just are waiting for you.
Yeah, and you're like, she's like, I'm not going to that again because then I have the kids and they're like freaking out because they want to go touch this thing or buy that thing, and you're over there talking about freaking deer.
It's kind of like when we were at Iowa and Sarah Bomar and the kids
that's
were just
right.
like hanging out waiting for like because Josh
Josh walked 1
Bomar was
mile so far.
talking to everyone, we're like sitting there for like 45 minutes playing with the kids. Like, I get it. I now get it what
Yeah.
it's like.
Pretty
We were
terrible.
not cool.
I didn't know. I don't know what it's going to be like. Calder asked a question. I think you're going to have to answer it. What do you think about deer migration, and is where you find the sheds where the buck will be in season?
Oh, that's a fine question, Calder. If you're getting 4 feet of snow and you're up in the Adirondacks, which I think you are, I think deer absolutely probably do migrate. In the UP, there's like serious migration where they get like winter, lake effect snow, and the deer migrate into yards like down low in cedar swamps and whatnot. So that does not necessarily mean that where you find the shed, you're going to kill the buck. But what I will tell you is in Northwoods of Wisconsin, and this is not just me, this is a bunch of people that I've talked to over the years who have killed bucks within 400 yards of where they found their sheds, has happened a number of times. If it's not like a weird year where you've got like a ton of snow or not much snow, if it's like a fairly average year, I think a lot of the bigger mature deer will just live in a spot. Like they've already picked a spot that's good for them. It's got food, it's got water, it's got cover. A lot of those deer won't move. And they'll just live out their whole year, whether there's other deer there or not. They'll just hang there. And if you kind of know where that deer maybe lives from like trail camera or past experience, or you've had encounters and you find a shed close, what I would say is note that, because we have had a lot of encounters with big deer close to where we found sheds. But if it's like a migration route and they're like traveling from all the hills into like a lowland deer yard, yeah, probably not as effective. But if it's an area that you've known that deer to like be in the fall, absolutely pay attention to that, because that can be really, really huge.
Good answer. We have a caller, and it is Jared with the Powderhorn podcast. What's up, dude? How you doing? Oh, wait. Hold on. Don't respond yet. I have to turn the volume up. 1 second. Hold on. Oh, boy. All right. Go ahead. Can you hear us now?
Yeah, I can hear you guys. Can you hear
Good.
me?
Yep, there you are.
Hey, Jared.
Gotcha. Hopefully the audience can hear you too. I know sometimes it gets a little wonky, but yeah, how you been, man? What's going on? You surviving?
Kind of recovering after post-shot show in Dallas Safari Club. So back-to-back shows.
You seemed a little busy.
I'm feeling today. And I go to NWTF next week, so never stops for me. But talking about shed hunting, the bucks in South Carolina are still holding their antlers.
When do they usually drop them?
I feel like they should have dropped them, but we just had kind of a mild winter. And I've been on the trail cameras, like waiting for, a couple bucks that you see all season just to drop them and be like, all right, let's go to deer camp and make a quick lap. But I will say the predators in the Southeast are on the move way more, I think, in the last couple week or two. But the bucks just are holding the antlers, and I want to go shed hunting, but when the trail cameras are showing they're still holding them, it's like, do we go? Do we not go?
You don't.
No.
If you have confirmation they have not dropped, let's try to jump on one of these things and like rip them off. Which could
Hold
be
still,
fun.
buddy.
You find the thickest area of your property, where it's all brambles, and then you just do deer drives into that, like push them so that they run through and rip their antlers off, and then you find the whole pile. No, don't do that. Not recommended.
Maybe.
Not recommended.
No, they're still holding. So hearing everyone, shed hunt, and I think we kind of deal with the same thing. Like we get to mushroom hunt in the Southeast a little, sooner than the Midwest. So guys would go out looking for morels and, things like that. But, seeing everyone in the Midwest that's out shed hunting now, it's like, we're just waiting. We're still sitting on our hands.
You're getting pre-FOMO.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And
but, it'll happen.
Even here in the upper Midwest, we still have, I would say, a lot of deer. Majority probably still with antlers on there.
Sam Soholt posted that meme like a few years ago of old school, where he's on the gymnastics things. He's like, still holding. He's got a cigarette in
Just
his mouth.
puffing the cigarette. Just go.
We've shared the Star Wars one where he's like, just let go. Like, there's a number of those types of things out there where like it's gonna be in some cases way later in the season. It's like shit, they're still holding, you know?
Yeah, and I'm not like, just a disclaimer here. When I'm going to Iowa, it is the main goal is to scout like for the 2026 tag. If I can find a shed, awesome. But now like seasons are done in Iowa, so I'm going mainly to scout. And if I can find sheds, really cool.
Mhm.
But I really just want to like learn some properties because I've not been there before.
Yeah.
So sheds are a bonus. We're just going to
think
walk.
I think it's cool that people are still out kind of scouting. Even me, a lot of guys that I know turn their trail cameras off, like the cellular cams. They turn them off at the end of the season, and I'm like, leave them on. You can learn some crazy things in the off season. How weather affects the game, and like for me, the predators have like cut my property in half. So it's weird to see deer not using some of the trails because I have a couple of coyotes and bobcats.
I saw you
that just
posting some stuff.
hit
How big
this
is your
one trail
property?
camera every day.
How big is your property, Jared?
Just about 200 acres.
Just about
I do
200.
a
You made
little
it the
bitty
way
one.
you worded it made it sound like you're saying it's small. Sorry about that. Was that too much?
For South Carolina, I think it's kind of small. Some of my neighbors have way more property than us.
You ever heard the
So
term
we're
back
kind
40?
of we're at a disadvantage, I guess, in the South.
Oh man. Hey, when's your next podcast going live? I didn't see an episode in the folder. I was like, oh no, did I miss Sunday or did he? I'm like terrified to mess up because there's
No.
more people coming on. I'm like trying to manage it.
So after Dallas Safari Club, I was sick, and then got well enough just to make it to SHOT Show. But
Yeah.
Tim Watts, I think, who's kind of assumed the role as an unofficial co-host, maybe a co-host.
Yeah, he did great.
We have the Dallas. So we have the Dallas Safari Club episode that I'm actually going to upload tomorrow. That will maybe drop midweek, a little bit ahead of Sunday Gun Day, and then we did a SHOT Show episode talking about all of the shenanigans that is SHOT Show, the World of Concrete, and the AVN Expo that takes place in Vegas.
Yeah, what an interesting mixture of shows to happen all at once. I think you mix anything with AVN and it's probably pretty weird, but like those two in particular, that's a rowdy crew
It's
in the city.
And one thing, being gun guys, we found out that regardless of which expo you went to, there was going to be someone there trying to sell you a lubricant of some sort.
Well, I can tell you, I already want to listen to the podcast because I think it'll be a lot of fun.
You just let me know when you want these
Whether
to
it's-
get published so I get it right. Because I am not like Whitney's podcast is coming online now with Wild Strength. Yours, we have another one we're onboarding for hunting gear. That's going to be really exciting. So just have some grace with me as I trip over all these podcasts and figure out who's going live. When you saw a post in the thing that I'm like, Tyler, you got to make a spreadsheet because we're gonna mess this up. It's not gonna look good. And he's a resident
it's
spreadsheet
cool
guy.
to see the growth. We're excited to be a part of it, and with SHOT Show happening, there's so much to digest from that one. With Dallas Safari Club, especially that being more of a hunting centric show. I've never been to NWTF, so going to that one in Nashville next week is going to be
consumer show.
kind of ridiculous. So
Yeah.
a little bit of hunting. Maybe I'll see Paul Campbell again there from the Turkey Season podcast.
He'll be there.
And,
Oh,
and
yeah.
we'll get to kind of look at the gun side of things, and then also the hunting side of things as well. Should be pretty good time.
Awesome.
I feel like there'll be a lot of shotguns at NWTF, considering like I heard there's more waterfowl and wing shooting that goes on NWTF than just turkey. Although the updeck guys would argue that a turkey is an upland bird. I think that's actually accurate, though. I don't know if that's an argument or a fact.
Man, I feel like
it's called a
that'd be a
B-52
passionate
grouse.
thing.
Like it's just a
Definitely,
huge grouse,
there'd
isn't
be-
it?
I guess. I'm the shed guy. I don't know shit about
turkeys
birds.
Are turkeys just like really big pheasants? Like they don't fly that good, right?
No, they're. I mean,
Regardless, if you made that argument, there's going to be some guys on like one side rolling up their like Bottomland, button-up T-shirts, and the other side will be Mac 7 guys rolling up their shirts, looking at each other very crossly.
so you're 50% wrong, but then the other 50% is saying you're also wrong.
I'll post
Yeah,
this as a
like,
clip, and we'll just get like beat up on social media.
Yes, you get a lot of
Are
comments.
you kidding me? It's a turkey.
Up in my ass.
I know you don't good. I know you're not good at turkey because you call it a thunder chicken. No, I just don't care.
I see that Paul has been ramping up his turkey stuff.
Oh,
I'm starting to see a lot of Paul on the
as
turkey
much as you
season.
care about whitetail, that's how much Paul cares about turkey.
It's a lot. He cares a lot.
It is his oxygen. Like the guy can't breathe without turkeys. So
Cool.
much like you with
I mean,
whitetails.
turkey hunters are passionate folk. They're a passionate people.
Yeah.
And it's being, you know, I'm more of a deer hunter and a predator hunter. I'm not a duck hunter. I just don't. I feel like I would go to jail day one because I couldn't tell you the difference between a duck and
Yes, there's that.
daybreak. Like,
I'm right there with you.
That's a unique talent that those guys have to
They'd be
call
like-
the kind of birds. I'm like, how do you know what that's?
yeah, it's a female mallard at 60 yards away in an overcast, foggy swamp. No, I'm going to jail. Like green jeans is getting me through a ticket. And I feel bad about it every time. So I stick to turkeys, when I get an opportunity, but deer and predators are my go-to. But you got, okayest hunters, everyone's passionate. We got what we're passionate about. And I think it's cool that people nerd out how they do, regardless of what they do.
Yeah, that's just it. And I think your podcast canvases that really well. And in a segment that, everyone's pretty charged or visceral about their feelings about certain topics. And I think the gun community in general, the firearm community, whatever, has some pretty strong opinions too. And unfortunately, they have guns. So I'm kind of like a little worried about offending anybody in that camp. So I'm glad you're doing that. Like, you can navigate that.
So Jared,
it's SHOT Show is always a good time. I mean, it's either going to be a knuckle bump or kicking the shit. I don't know what it's going to be.
So with February here in Wisconsin, our coyotes are wildly active and breeding season is nearing up. And you said your property is really heating up with a lot of coyotes. Are you doing a lot of predator hunting right now?
I'm planning a trip with a buddy of mine the first week of March to kind of hit them because they are rampant and they're looking for those slow moving lethargic deer, turkeys. As the winter foliage has kind of gone away. So everyone's kind of, struggling. So seeing coyotes in the daylight is that first, uptick. So looking at the trail cameras and seeing them running the same trail in the daylight is like, no, they're getting ready to breed and they're being super aggressive. So I am definitely a predator hunter. I'm going to go down there and, silencers and thermals, we're going to put on them, I hope.
Ooh, that sounds like a pretty dangerous recipe right there.
Silencers.
Good luck to you. That sounds awesome.
Sounds like a good time.
Yeah.
I mean, either that or my butt's going to be sore from sitting in a chair for 12 hours.
Well,
straight.
we'll be, either way. Well, good to hear from you, bud. Let me know, whenever I need to get the episodes posted, I'll schedule them. Ideally, that's how.
I'll pop them up in there. But this is we can talk. This is Okayest Hunter podcast. This is your show right now.
True,
So
but
I'm
yours
here
is
for
like
you guys.
there's been a lot of excitement about yours, and people are like, I can't wait to hear that one. I'm really excited about that one, and so ours does fine, but there's a lot of excitement about others. Like, for instance, Okayest Trapper has surpassed Okayest Hunter in popularity, at least in the last 28 days. So I'm not going to give Zach that much credit because I'm also super competitive.
He's gonna kick our ass. He's got a good thing going.
On like one hand, I'm like rooting because I want everyone to win on a network, but then I also would love some friendly competition within the network. Like, oh yeah, but there's also the seasonality ebbs and flows of things. So
well, and I feel like
it's
the
gonna come and
trapper.
go.
I feel like the trapper idea is like if you're ever on like YouTube and you see like the shorts or like the reels that are like when you find something obscure that's weird that people are interested in.
Yeah,
those have like millions of views. And trapping is like
Very
kind
obscure.
of obscurity nowadays. Like not that many people do it.
it's a
So I'm
time machine.
glad that it's like getting the spotlight shown on it, and Zach's doing it
He's doing it humbly
wonderful
and,
justice. He's doing a great job with it. So like it's really cool to see that
take off.
people have interest in that.
It's doing good.
It's really neat.
Urban
It's
Pursuit
one of those
commented.
viral things. You can watch it and you get sucked into it
Yes.
because you don't know a lot about it and it's interesting. So after like 10 reels, you're like, oh man, this is kind of cool. And then you're trying to find beaver scent. And you're going to trap
Yeah.
beavers on your
Yeah, I'm gonna
mom's
go-
property.
I might need that.
You're
I'm gonna
right.
get that.
I'm gonna get that. That's me the way I'm gonna do
Yeah,
it.
like
We just start diving into shit. Like, what's wrong with us? I wanted to call it a comment because I just want to make sure I'm doing a good job. Because if someone comments, I would hope that they feel heard, and I'm not going to get all of them. But Urban Pursuit commented, turkeys are the definition of falling with style. What a racket when they come down. Yes, if you've ever like walked into the woods, it's deer hunter. I've walked in the woods and like been scared. Like I think I've jumped out of my skin because turkeys were coming out of the roost. He said have to get up early. ducking as opposed to a turkey sometimes, it can wear you down quick. I might have misread that comment because sometimes autocorrect
I just
would say duck instead of the other
I
word. So.
don't see how standing crotch deep in swamp water is all that fun. I'm good. Like, I don't like fishing and falling out of the boat. And I don't really want to start my day standing crotch deep in
I've
swamp
talked
water.
about-
Like, you know,
What episode was it? A couple weeks ago, and I was like, you could get a Latitude saddle platform
Oh yeah, you did talk about
and
that.
put in a flooded
to sit
timber
on
to
and-
sit
yeah.
on. I think it's when they were on the show when Greg hit all the cords. He did it last week when he was here. I was like, we talked about it before. I said, don't touch the cords. And by the end, you can go watch the damn video. Greg starts playing the cords. I did
There's-
this. I did a backhand to
There's
him.
video evidence.
I was like, are you out of your mind? We just did this. He's like, oh yeah, sorry.
because he did it like a month ago.
Yes. Oh boy, that guy. He backhand me in the woods for all sorts of shit. So in here, I get full reign.
There you go. Yeah, time to get back at him.
That's right. Tony Cordero said, Powderhorn is in my rotation. I dig it. So good job. Good to hear a direct compliment.
Oh, Calder also had a question about coyotes. He said they have a lot of them by him. Are they known to take sheds for chewing on? And the answer
Probably, yeah.
is absolutely yes. Any canine will grab
Squirrel,
a piece of
chipmunks,
bone?
mice.
the squirrels, mice, possums, porcupines will
Yep,
chew on
grab that
them,
one.
but coyotes will absolutely move them. And like I've had it before. And Tony, I'm going to give Tony another plug. Tony Van Asten, go check out his YouTube channel. He's got a lot of really cool shed hunting videos, and he sees it a whole bunch. But like, you'll walk through an area shed hunting, and then come back in a couple weeks, and there'll be a shed right where you walked, because those coyotes will absolutely take them, move them. And when you find a shed, look at it. You can see little tiny tick marks where they carry them in their mouth. Even eagles have been known to pick up shed antlers and
Oh wow,
take them,
that's pretty neat.
move them, which is really weird. But yeah, coyotes, absolutely. I mean, you can still smell the deer on like the base. I mean, there's a gland on a deer's forehead,
I
right?
could not get that right on the camera.
Does it look just
No, I
absolutely
couldn't. I couldn't
ridiculous?
like get it.
It's like when you're looking in the mirror and you're trying to do something,
yeah, I was
but
like,
it's
what?
everything's
Where am I
opposite.
going? Yeah, it's pretty weird.
But yeah, coyotes, they're sometimes they make shed hunting easy, sometimes they make it really hard.
and I'll say it, if you're a deer hunter, or even a turkey hunter, save your bones. Like if you go home and you field dress your deer up, save some of the bones, because if you are a predator hunter, that is phenomenal bait for a coyote. You can throw that out there, and just like your dog at home, they're drawn to it. They know it's something they can chew on. It's got a little bit of flavor to it. So throw a bone out there, find a comfortable place to sit. Definitely, play the wind to your favor, but you just wait. They'll come find that thing, and give them a little 22-250 love.
There we go.
Little tap
So-
tap.
Little kiss,
Little poke.
little bee sting.
Yeah, one of those, state your business or prepare to get wing type of situations.
You can get the business end of this rifle. What's that from that? What's that movie? The Revenant. That's the first time I heard someone say the business end of something, and it was that movie was pretty well done. I thought
Is that
there's
the
a show out now by the same writer.
Leonardo DiCaprio
Yeah,
one?
where the bear gets him.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's like a
Pretty-
very
pretty gritty.
real, very real movie.
Even at the end, like gets a little freaking preposterous. This guy's tracking him down forever. I'm like, give me a break. That part's got to been made up, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
I saw it in theaters.
There's got to be some theatrics, right?
Yeah, of course. But you got to keep me believing.
I don't know. I don't ever want to get mauled by a bear, and I imagine that's exactly how it's going to happen if it does. Like never, ever, ever, ever. No.
It'd be terrible. I mean, if that was a way to go, I feel like that'd be a fine way to go.
Mm,
Because at least like they'll tell good
Mm.
stories.
Mm.
How'd he die? Well, a bear got him.
Eric, you want to
Like-
be one of the 30-second reels, like in 1999, Eric Clark was hiking alone in the woods.
It'd be better than the way Christopher McKennell's went from like eating freaking potato seeds.
dude.
The bear didn't want to eat them.
So this was ridiculous because I shouldn't have been thinking about this, but I was. But when I was in Iowa, I walked up this giant hill, and I was up in the bluff, so it's like flat on top, woodsy, but then like all around the edge is all like rock cliffs. And I came down a chute between the rock cliffs, right?
Mhm.
And there was like a game trail there. And as I'm coming down, I'm like, boy, if I was a mountain lion, like I would sit in these bluffs and wait for something to walk up and down this trail. And I'm like, I'm walking down, I just got this weird feeling that like something was watching me. You know what I mean? So like I picked up like a walking stick and I was like starting to look around. Now I was just like, it's in the back of my mind. And I got down to where it flattened out below the
Did you see a
cliff.
cougar track?
And, no, I turned and looked. And I posted on my story. I don't know if you saw it, but there was an owl.
Oh, the owl
in a
yeah,
little
yeah.
crack.
That
There was a
was really
little
cool.
owl sitting there, just chilling, looking at me. And I
That
was
was
like,
what kind of owl
something
was that?
watching.
Yeah,
Like your intuition. I have no idea. It was like white and orange. It was really cool.
it had a really interesting shape.
He had like one eye open, one eye closed.
Tired.
You woke me up. You thought a mountain lion was going to be bad? Check this out.
A
Talons,
talon to the eye would be pretty bad.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
He was tiny.
That's pretty. I did see that. Well, Jared, thanks for calling in, buddy. Good to hear from you, and have fun at NWTF.
Yeah, no, guys. Yeah, you guys take care. Good luck, getting the sheds, and be okayest at everything you do in life. That's my advice for everyone tonight.
That's what
Appreciate
we
you
do.
calling in, buddy.
All right, guys. Talk to you later.
See you.
Bye.
So you're going with Gus. We talked about that hotel, all the stuff.
It's going to be fun.
Send some pictures.
We'll take some videos.
Yeah.
If anybody's interested in seeing the Iowa scouting trip, I did what I always do, which was just
I have to post it.
I scouted. Well, yeah, no rush. I just took a whole bunch of videos, scouted, just basically just talked about what I was seeing, what I was thinking as far as hunting it, and then I got the sheds in there. It's probably long-ish of just me babbling.
I think there's some where
there's
you have
a
like
few
hours
people-
of content.
there's a few people who enjoy it, so if you can learn
There
something
really
from
are.
it,
Have you had people reach out to you directly about any of that stuff? Because like we've
had a
seen some of the
bunch,
feedback,
yeah.
and it's like really, really well liked.
yeah, I've had a bunch of people.
Okay.
So that's why I keep.
They're
doing
like, "Why are you with the OKS Hunter?"
it.
Because
That's
like
not what they
we
said.
like you, but we don't like those other guys.
That is not at all what they said.
Oh man. Well, and thanks again for doing the daily deer and stepping in there to help. Otherwise, me and Tyler just ramble on about nonsense.
Haven't done many,
So,
but hey, anything
when you do, and
helps.
it's like, well, this guy's actually good at talking about stuff where he knows what he's talking about. So I feel like
You're a
those
joke.
episodes immediately skew really well. People must like watch it first, like, oh, that's Derek. I'll watch this.
You're not giving yourself enough credit. I'm gonna toot Eric's horn for a minute here. Eric called me from SHOT Show, which is a big deal. And I just want to give you some credit where credit is due. This guy works harder than anybody I know. You have like 18 jobs that you do daily. And I just think you're freaking awesome. And I really look up to your work ethic. And for those of you who followed this journey of the Where to Hunt and then the OKS Hunter, everything that Eric has done, everything he believes in, and like his ethos and all, he talks about the stuff all the time. It's because he truly believes it. And it's good to see that like the community that we're a part of has like embraced the shit out of it. And like really, like I feel like you've seen all of your work start to come to fruition. And like these companies are now like seeing the authenticity that you bring in like an industry that's not always about authenticity and integrity. And like I just feel like you're starting to see that all the things that you were doing that we believed in you for doing, and like the reason we've like been with you is because of who you are as a person. And I just think it's freaking awesome that like it's starting to come back.
Well, I hate taking compliments, so I'm just gonna tear
I
up over
know
here. Thank
that's
you.
why I wanted to give you a shout out. When I pulled up in the, I was like, I'm gonna give Eric a shout out tonight
Yeah.
because I think it's you put in a lot of work, and there's so much behind the scenes that people don't always see. And as much as it's like a fun, silly, like you pour your heart and soul out into
Yeah,
this, and it's good to see it. Like people recognize
It's
it,
a shit ton of work, so I feel bad because
and you do it for all the right reasons. Like you're doing it to help and to be.
well,
a
have folks like
resource.
you on board to help put out content that is like meat on the bone versus someone
Dude, I
who's
just talk about deer. Like I just talk about animals.
like-
None of that matters.
but
Like
from
it's
a,
all the other. Like
you
all you're
spend
doing.
so
all
much
this-
time in the woods that it matters more coming from you. If I were to do it, it's kind of like this guy's full of shit, and I am. When it comes to a degree, I love talking about what I know, and if I don't know something, I get real quiet. Like that's pretty typical for me. If I don't know something, I get quiet, or my voice will trail off. If I know what I'm talking about, I'm pretty boisterous and loud about it. I have strong opinions about like whitetail hunting because I've learned some shit. I've seen some shit. Like I've been in it, you know.
Dude, you killed a buck on the ground this year at like 3 yards. That was amazing.
I have to. So I have the skull. My wife doesn't know this yet, but I have the skull in the freezer in the garage. The skull plate.
Oh yeah.
And I need someone to help me like there's no hose right now or anything because everything's frozen. So just
Leave it in the freezer till
like
you got a
I'll
hose.
boil it and then hose it down, pressure whatever, all that shit. But I want to put the antlers on an R2, and I have a plaque with the date of that.
Sweet.
Even though it's the 2 tiniest antlers in the history of Wisconsin whitetail bow hunting, that
matter.
buck has a really big impact on me for what it told me about this season and what I'd gone through and all that stuff. So I can't emphasize enough, like, big story, small antlers. That continues to be really true. Not that big antlers don't also equate to big stories, but that's like the run of the mill shit. That's what we expect.
Yeah.
You look at Field and Stream, no offense to these guys by any stretch, whatever. I love this beautiful journal. Most of what you'll see in not these guys per se, but other magazines is it's a big buck. I went and I hunted it, I killed it, and that's the story. And it's big bucks, big antlers, because it's what drives the industry. I'm not saying that's good or bad,
It's just the way it
but
is.
there's more to it than that. And it's just hard to get away from that because you can't do the things that would suck money out of things, I guess. Like otherwise there wouldn't be an industry per se. But we all know behind the veil of big antlers is the real meaning of what's going on, which is the story and the moments. And that's what we try to do here. So even though I'm the big idiot out in front,
Yeah, no.
there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff.
Don't
that goes
short credit
into it.
yourself on that either, because what folks don't get to see is like we haven't had, like, I haven't been here with a guest in a little while, but when we have guests from like not just like solo dudes who are just hunting, which we don't
Mhm.
have a ton of that, but when we have like industry guests and folks who are like doing things within the industry, run businesses, companies, as soon as the live show ends, you are the authority and they are asking you, hey man, I don't know what to do with this mark. Like, and you literally will just help anyone for as long as it takes after the show. Like, and then all of a sudden you are just, so like you may get, oh, Derek can talk about, dude, you are like helping every single person. They all come here like, I'll be on his podcast because I know he'll help me after.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Because they know like
I'm
you're
a
going to be
barter.
able to
How
help
about you
them.
teach me how to kill big bucks, and I'll teach you how to sell your product. Okay, like we'll figure it out together.
But like you sell
Yeah.
yourself short with like saying that that's it. But like people don't get to see that. I've got to see that for like 3 years.
Yeah.
And it's
Well, I always feel like it's probably
awesome.
annoying people because I'll given an opportunity, I'll skew the episode towards business. So I know our audience is
passionate
here
about
for
that.
hunting. But that being said, shed hunting is coming up. It's happening now. Check out Rack Hub, please. They're good friends of ours. They have great products for exactly this is what they are made for. Use our discount code. It's there for you guys. And then turkey season's coming around. And this is the Okayest Hunter podcast. So even though we have the turkey season podcast on our network, which is hosted by Paul Campbell, definitely go check him out. But know that we'll probably be talking about turkeys also, because this isn't exclusive to deer hunting. Hunter is implicit. What's the word I'm looking for?
Implicit?
Of
No?
all things. Is that the right word? Fuck, I don't know. But I don't know. Every day is very long right now. Like beyond
Is this
belief.
still January? Damn.
It feels like it's still January.
It's still January.
Freaking let it go. Still holding. That January.
Holding.
That's January. Like there's the meme for you. January 31st. Still holding.
Damn it.
February. Let it go. Just gonna do a whole episode of memes. I tooled down I like spun down the memes a lot. Tyler and I had a dialogue about this. I think a lot of people thought or think that maybe don't know us as deeply as that maybe our podcast listeners thought that our page was just a meme page or a GIF page or whatever the hell they're freaking called.
Yeah.
And though that's actually kind of true, that's not the full truth. So we're taking a hiatus from that. By and large, they'll still be there, but like the emphasis is more around like content that can like trigger an emotional response. And some people are like, well, but I enjoy the memes; they're funny.
As we age, we're becoming more philosophical.
I'm still open to doing them, but I just
You're so good at
got to
it.
be
You're
tasteful.
so good at it.
Just wait till the Super Bowl comes out. The only reason I watch Super Bowl is so I can be the first one.
You
to
always
post
are.
a meme to our
It's like
channel.
4 seconds after the commercial. Eric Clark is posted on Okayest Hunter. I'm like, how did he do this?
I take great pride in that. I'm
You're
like,
fan-
don't bother me. I'm on my phone. My father-in-law's like, did you see that play? I'm like, what the fuck play are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. I'm making a meme. He's like, oh, Jesus. I'm like the worst son-in-law ever because he's obsessed with sports. I'm like, I'm sorry, Tony, that you have me because I don't know what the hell is going on. I just am trying to do this thing. He's like always so disappointed.
So yeah, wait for Sunday. You guys will just keep the feet on. You'll see it.
I'm gonna like
It's incredible speed. Somebody get a timer
let's go.
and time them.
Yeah, usually that's the first comment. I was like, well, that was quick. Yeah, you're welcome.
Who's performing at halftime? I don't know.
It's the rapper. Someone help me out here.
The rapper.
Lamar.
Oh yeah, Kendrick
Lamar.
Lamar?
Thank you. Yeah, which dude, he is.
So you've got to have. You got to
Incredibly
already
talented.
have a
And
few
then Taylor
ideas.
Swift might show up. And look, I know people have very strong feelings about Taylor Swift, like in the political spectrum of things. And I've always held the thought for 20 years, musicians or actors or artists will get dragged into something like that. And like, I just love what they produce. I don't care about them. You could turn in the biggest asshole in the world and maybe like you fall off the face of the earth because you like beat the shit out of a kid in art class. But tell you what, that Fred Bear painting is still incredible. Whether or not I like you is apart from how amazing that piece of art is.
Let's hope none of what he just said ever is true.
It's just bonus that you're a good human and I like you. I'm only saying, let's say, like, you can't tell me if you've heard Shake It Off that you don't like that song. You're fucking lying. You play that song, my daughter dances, I love it. It's a good time. So, like, if she ends up doing something with Kendrick, I'm gonna just be pretty
You're gonna enjoy
excited.
it.
I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm just look, and I am who I am. So it would be. I think who is it? I think did fucking Cameron Haynes say this shit? He said something like, "I'd rather be hated for who I am than loved for what I'm not." So if you guys want to hate me for liking Taylor Swift, be my
Specifically,
guest.
Shake It Off.
Specifically, Shake It Off. Then that sounds like your problem and not mine.
I had a student last semester in independent study drawing who was a huge Taylor Swift fan, and she was drawing a giant,
Yeah.
amazing color pencil portrait of Taylor Swift. So whenever she would come in that block, I'd always have a T Swift song queued up,
Yeah.
and she would groove in.
See, it's fun. From the business side of
I
things,
didn't dance.
she was one of
or
the
anything.
first artists ever, and I think Post Malone is the second that I'm aware of that transcended genres and made really, really smart business and marketing choices. So as a marketer, that's a case study to follow and like learn from.
The business side of Taylor Swift is insane.
Post Malone, same thing. Like, dude went from heavy metal to rap to country. Dude, that's crazy. Can you like think about that for a second? I mean, you then what's the word? You
What's better than one
you
market
alien
pool?
you a-
Three.
yeah, you alienate your audiences maybe by jumping, but not, I don't know, like I like all music for different moods, times of the year, times of the day. I will listen to Sepultura. I will listen to Seven Dust. I've been to Seven Dust concerts and done mosh pits. I will listen to 3 Days Grace, freaking Creed, Taylor Swift, Kendrick Lamar, Khan, like
Let it rip.
Rage Against the Machine. You can't appreciate music and art if you just like, well, I just like country, or I just like rock, or I just like, well, then, that's good that you like that, but you're missing out. Ludovico Einaudi, if you're like composer music, if you want to play that in your art class, he's an amazing pianist. Okay. Incredible. Just exquisite music coming out of that guy.
I am not gonna lie. This is like turning into a guilty pleasure thing. I came across, the wife and I were looking for something to watch
So I don't
on,
drink too much
on
bourbon.
Paramount or something. Yeah, this is not necessary at all. Please stop listening.
We do have a deer hunting music playlist on Spotify.
If anyone ever wants to hear deer stuff, go to Dropping Pins. We actually talk deer. No, there was a Dua Lipa did the
Okay.
concert at Royal Albert Hall
Okay.
in London, which is like a really big deal for like an artist to do that.
Mhm.
And she played her songs, but with a huge symphony orchestra.
Oh, so cool.
And I saw it, and we were trying to decide what to watch, and like Ashley was looking on her phone for like picking it. And I was like, I'm just gonna put this on while we do it. And immediately when it came on, I was just like enthralled, like the orchestra, all these violins.
Mhm.
I was like, this, like, and I just like literally was so intrigued with like the art of it. I was like, this is freaking awesome. And my daughter loves to sing and like get dressed up. So the next morning I put that on, and Dua Lipa like comes out in like
Yeah.
this beautiful red dress. And
What is the song? I don't know. I've heard the name, but I can't think of what.
Dua Lipa has a whole bunch of songs. that
Okay.
You would
I just
absolutely
want you to
know.
sing one for me so I can.
I don't sing, so I'm not going to do
I've been
that.
called the songbird of my
She
generation.
does. It's the Houdini
Mm,
song.
I don't know. I probably know it. I need to hear
I
it.
don't know what it's actually called.
Okay.
She says Houdini. It's just the only
Okay.
song that says Houdini. So if you look up, Houdini,
Figure it out.
you'll
I'll
see
figure it out.
But it's really cool to watch.
Okay.
I thought it was awesome. She did a
Okay.
great job.
Interesting. Crescent Creek Outdoors said I would be lying if I said I did like that song. I think that's not a typo.
I think that's what he meant. What he said is what he meant.
I think that's what they meant.
He meant
but-
what he said, and he said what he meant.
But you got to shake it off, man. You just got to shake it off.
Okay, I think we need to wrap this up before some more bullshit comes out. This is going nowhere
The
good.
shed antlers, they just got to shake them off.
Okay.
Okay.
There's
It's like we've brought it full circle. That's where we're at. Have fun out there. Have a good night, everybody.